Hey guys, King of Charmander here. Today I'll be a judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today we analyze the Season 9 Great League Remix. It's coming back. I wish it was replaced by something, or if they made more bands. Anyways, Great League Remix is pretty identical. Compared to Ultra League Remix, there is actually going to be 20 Pokemon that are banned. So basically, same amount of Pokemon that are banned, with only 2 changes. So the differences between Season 8 and Season 9 were that Meganium, as you see here, was Reganium and Toxicroak are no longer banned. What's banned instead is Jellicent and Sableye, which is bigger impact in my opinion. With Sableye banned, that takes out one of the most powerful safe switches in the game, which is why Sableye was used a lot anyways. So only 2 minor changes. Well, not really minor considering Sableye and Jellicent are pretty big safe switches and really prevalent in Open Great League. So depending on which one of these you use, I would say for you, it's pretty massive. For other people that don't use Sableye safe switch a lot compared to nowadays, you might use Burbolot. It's definitely better for you. Anyways, let's just take a look at how being Sableye and Jellicent being banned instead of Meganium and Toxicroak really affect Season 9 Great League Remix meta. Alright, as I always say, please consider contributing to pvpoke.com using this link right here. So, if you are a DJ and you like mixing, well, today we are going to mix the Great League Remix, which, if you looked on my previous analysis, mixing 2 Pokemon isn't too much of a mix. As you see here, even though Sableye and Jellicent are banned instead of the other way around, a lot of the top picks overall are still relatively the same. Registeel for every Great League Remix has been insanely powerful. The new Poison type meta, or new Poison type buff, is here to stay. Regirock makes a really random appearance. Well, not really random. It's actually very good just because its ability to spam its charge moves. Things like Snowy Castform, which basically replaces Alolan Ninetales since Alolan Ninetales is banned. Things like Diggersby, Cresselia, etc. As you see, very, very minimal changes. A lot of things are still basically the top 10 through 20 are still relatively the same. Not too much of a difference, unfortunately, as far as overall goes. Now, the leads is where you might notice a big difference in the Great League Remix. The thing is, Jellicent and Sableye, what is the relationship between the two? They were ghost types. Since they are now banned, Nidoqueen kind of runs through a lot of things. This is where it kind of changes. As you see, the leads, Mantine is now a top lead, so is Beedrill, etc. And Nidoqueen. When you took out Sableye and Jellicent, that really flipped around the lead meta. As you see here, it's very interesting to see just how the leads kind of really changed. Like, this was probably one of the most dramatic impacts as far as Great League Remix goes. As you see here, Nidoqueen, Beedrill, Mantine, Diggersby's still here, so that really hasn't changed. Things like Lucario and Machamp are still powerful leads as well. Abomasnow, Sony Castform, so now the Ice-type archetype with Jellicent being banned is now very powerful. And just a few other things. I think what's really funny is that Galar, as far as Galar goes, Phalanx actually makes its way into this meta, which is pretty hilarious. As you see, it still dies to like Charmers, etc. But it's kind of nice to see some new blood. As far as the fighting meta goes, not super powerful. As you see, Machamp still overtakes Phalanx, but it's still very, very good. Again, the leads flipped out a little bit, so if you have a Nidoqueen powered up for Great League, guess what? It's going to be very powerful, and it stands as the most powerful lead in the Great League Remix for Season 9. Now, the safe switches, as you see here for the Great League Remix, this is where I'll spend a little more time. It actually didn't change too much. Nidoqueen is still an incredibly powerful lead. For those of you that were using Shadow Drapion for the Great League Remix, guess what? It's still really good. Basically, Poison's still very powerful. Cresselia is a lot safer this time around, so I can probably foresee a lot of Cresselias being used more in the Great League Remix for Season 9. What's this? Again, Jellicent and Sableye are very powerful safe switches, with the Ghost type meta being kind of like ripped out. Cresselia is able to take the reins, and at number 3 is very, very powerful. It's able to beat Nidoqueen, the Poison type meta safe switch, and it's also able to beat Obstagoon with Moonblast. This is the one shield, by the way, and if Obstagoon boosts, really, really sucks for you, and guess what? Registeel is still available. So, even though Cresselia is a very powerful safe switch, just keep in mind, there's still a lot of things here like Mandibuzz, Registeel, very popular picks that could possibly wall you or give you a very hard time. The good thing about save switches, it also had a little bit of mix. Regirock is now a very, very powerful save switch, unless it's going against basically, as you see here, flyers or Frostless, just basically things that can outpressure it. It can do a very good damage. Ironically, it loses to Nidoqueen just because of Earth Power. You can get poison if you get debuffed in Earth Power. It really, really sucks, and Regirock is no different. But it's pretty cool to see how, like, it's still a really great, fun thing to play around with. So will be Shadow Beedrill and Sunny Castform. Weather Ball is still very powerful. The queen of switches, well, I love this person. Well, I love this Pokemon. It's very, very powerful. Is Frostless. Frostless now enters the top 10 and is pretty much the primary Ghost save switch now. Now that Jellicent and Sableye have been banned, the Queen of Ghosts, the Queen of Ice, she will freeze your heart, your soul, and if you play the Frozen theme, as far as like the Disney Frozen theme, we can't be friends anymore. I'm just kidding, we can still be friends. Anyways, Frostless now comes back as a very, very powerful save switch again for the Great League Remix. Very, very interesting. Things like Lapras, Drapion, etc. Especially Lapras, very, very powerful save switch as well. Makes it it's a very, very interesting save switch meta for Season 9. And last but not least, we have the closers. There's also a difference with the closers. Not really. Statistically, Registeel, Frostless, etc. are still very, very powerful closers. What makes Registeel better is that you don't have Jellicent to wall you. And with Frostless being a very popular save switch, or just popular in remixes in general, you could possibly have Frostless on Registeel action. But Registeel is a very, very powerful mon, has been since the first Great League remix, and it's no different this time around. Without Jellicent in the meta, and even Sableye, Sableye does have a strong matchup against Registeel just because Shadow Claw and Foul Play are so freaking strong. So, Registeel is arguably much more powerful this time around in Season 9. However, generally, as you see statistically, things don't change too much. Electivire Wall Charge users and the Regis are still very powerful for the Great League Remix. So it's still a very, very interesting conundrum of like a meta. Lantern has also made its way into the meta with being able to take out a lot of popular like save switches basically and just giving it a kind of weird, like a good combination of core breakers for Frostless, Nidoqueen, Machamp, etc. Really good closer. Lantern actually was pretty good in the last Great League Remix. It's just you didn't really see it too much just because of, like I said, there was a lot like Jellicent and Sableye were just a lot more powerful and a lot better cores for your teams, but it's very interesting to see Lantern in here. But if you used an old closer from before, the good thing is that you don't really have to change too much. The closer you had before actually is probably a lot more safer than it was in the last Great League Remix. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, this is what happens when Great League bans go right. As you see, 2 Pokemon being banned, overturned, well, Sableye and Jellicent in general, or in particular. As you see, it really does have a huge effect on the overall meta. Since they're so popular and they're so powerful, as you see, kind of flipped a lot of things around. Sadly, Magame and Toxicroak don't make much of an impact. You could possibly see him in this meta, but because the Queen, and I mean Frostless, the Queen is just so strong, especially when Ghost-type archetypes are banned, except for the Queen, you're going to see a lot more Frostless this time around. Or if you aren't, you probably will, just because it's so good in all positions. Just like in the original Great League Remix, when it first came out, it was just so powerful. So, hopefully you enjoy the Great League Remix this time around. It's very similar to the original Great League Remix when it first came out, which is really good. It's good to see some consistency, and hopefully Sableye and Jellicent do remain banned for the next seasons. Hopefully. We'll see what happens, though. As you see here, it's kind of funny how... What's bad about it is that I wish more things were banned. In all honesty, if more Pokemon were banned, this would make it a lot better of a meta. It would be nice to see a top 50 or top 100, and hopefully that will come to the future. You know, Niantic always takes baby steps with its entire development, as well as bringing back Pokestop distance after 3 freaking weeks. So hopefully one of these days we will have a consistent meta before it's too late. Well, considering it's been almost 10 seasons, well, it's going to be 10 seasons, including the preseason, it's going to be interesting just to see how much the bans, and like I said, if more bans happen, we'll see. But the fact that Ultra League Remix only has 10 bans doesn't make me too hopeful for that big image. Anyways, as I always say, please like and subscribe. It's totally free. All you have to do to subscribe is put your mouse on the bottom right, and you can easily subscribe using that sub box right there. Really do appreciate it, and it totally helps out the channel, and like I said, it's free. So, That being said, good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.